Tonight on Ghost Host Kitchen, we will be making carrot cake cookies. Of course, the first thing that you have to do is prepare your carrots. Now for this, you can either use a grater or you can use a mini food processor. I like using small carrots. They have a little bit of sweeter taste. And then chopping them up real fine. Make sure you get them grated into very small pieces. You don't want any large chunks of carrot in your cookie. And there you have it. That's about 1 cup of carrot. Okay, for the next step, we're going to mix the dry ingredients. That will be 3 cups of old-fashioned oats. Don't use the steel-cut ones, they don't work as well. 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Give your cookies a little rise to them. Some salt, of course, and some nutmeg. Going back to the salt and the baking soda, if you don't have all-purpose flour, you can use self-rising, in which case you just need to omit the salt and the baking soda. Mix those ingredients up real well. And once they are well mixed, they'll be ready for the next step. So in the meantime, we're going to mix the wet ingredients. First, we'll put in a cup of softened butter. Your stand mixer going. Basically what you want to do is you want to end up creaming your butter, mixing it with the sugar. If you use butter that has not been softened, this step will be very difficult as the butter will not accept the sugar. It won't mix well. So add your 1/2 cup of sugar. And then you want to add your cup of brown sugar. And just continue to let those mix together. As you can see here, the consistency is very well mixed at this point. And you can start to move on to the next step after this. Alright, so now you want to add 2 eggs. These cookies will be better if the eggs have also had time to sit out and come to room temperature. It's always a good idea to remove the eggs from the shells in a separate bowl. That way you can remove any small pieces of shell and they don't find their way into your cookies. Once the eggs are well incorporated, let's add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. sure to periodically scrape your bowl. You don't want the ingredients to pile up on the sides or on the beater. You want them to mix well and incorporate together. Be sure to scrape down the sides of your bowl. As you can see from this view, you can really get those ingredients off of the sides of the bowl so they can get well mixed. After everything is done, you're ready for the next step. So now we're going to combine the wet and dry ingredients. These will be the ingredients that we had previously mixed together: the oats, the flour, baking soda, salt. Just add them on in there, stir them together. Once those are incorporated, add the carrots that we grated in step 1. Give it a few minutes to mix well in there, and then add your pecans. Walnuts can also be used, but pecans give it a certain holiday flavor that I like. Be sure to scrape down the sides of your bowl as part of this step. Again, get those ingredients well mixed. We're going to put the cookie dough onto your baking sheet. Now we use a stone with a sealed hat. You can use any kind of baking sheet along with some parchment paper. You don't want to use wax paper because that wax will melt and get into your cookies. After you've put all your cookies out, place them in the oven and bake them at 350 degrees for 12 to 14 minutes. After that, let them cool on a wire rack. While they're cooling, you can make the icing. The icing here is a cream cheese based icing. We're using 3/4 cup of softened butter. It's just been allowed to sit out, become room temperature. A 12-ounce block of cream cheese. And we cream those together. We want to get them well incorporated. In this case, we're using the whisk attachment for our stand mixer. In the end, it'll make a very light and fluffy icing. To our icing, we want to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, personally, I like vanilla a lot, so we may have added just a little extra there. Let me take a moment to invite you to subscribe and like Ghost Toast Kitchen. And then we will add in about a tablespoon or so of lemon juice. Lemon juice just gives the frosting a nice light and clean, refreshing undertone. Okay, then we're going to add our powdered sugar. That's about 4.5 cups. Add it in small batches of about half a cup or so. You don't want to just put it all in at once. Okay, we've let that mix for about 3 to 5 minutes. As you can see the texture there, it's really smooth. Move the speed up to high and really whisk in a lot of air. That's what gives us that light, fluffy texture to our buttercream icing. Now, just before we finish it off, we're going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch. That will really help the icing maintain its shape. Just give that a little stir in, and your icing is ready to go. Just look how smooth that is. Alright, now for the fun part. Let's decorate our cookies. We're going to make cookie sandwiches out of these. So we take 2 cookies, and in this case we're using a piping bag to pipe some of our cream cheese buttercream icing on there, and just make that into a little cookie sandwich. A little dollop on top. There you have it. That is a carrot cake cookie. Thank you for watching, and look for our next recipe from Ghost Host Kitchen.